Hafa and welcome back to the Hotspot, everybody. It is our candidate conversation series of interviews where I have the unbelievable privilege, duty, and honor of talking to the Guamanians who have nobly, bravely, honestly put their hat in the ring to run for public office. And the general is coming up on November 8th. So, we're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday so that you can make an informed decision when you head to the polls. And joining me now on the KUM couch for the second time because of their impressive victories in the primary election, of both from the Democrat Party of Guam, I may add, Sarah Thomas Nededog, who finished number 9.
Yeah.
Hafa day, Sarah. Always good to see you.
Buenas, Jason.
You just light up. We can just turn off. Joe, can you please just turn off the lights? Because Sarah's lovely smile just lights up the room every time she's here.
You're the sweetest. So comfortable being here at KUM.
Well, you are always welcome here, and hopefully, if you have the support of the voters and everything, you will be welcome in the legislature. I know that's been a priority and a goal of yours for several years now. So congratulations.
Right.
Also finishing number 14. And equally positive, Jonathan Savares. Welcome back to KUM.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Guam, for pushing me through to to this general. Ironically, I finished 14. I'm still number 14 on the ballot for the general election.
You know what though? Whoever the patron saint is of general election, I think that you should pray to that saint. Light a candle for that saint because that's saying something. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. May I ask Jonathan, where did you spend your primary election night? What were you doing?
I stopped by I was at the Lou and Josh headquarters. At the end of the day, it's about unifying our party and ensuring that we have unity within our party. So of course I made sure that I went down there, and it was a long day. So of course I went home. I know Sarah was down there with us, but at the end of the night I went home and I left it to God, and I woke up in the morning. Went to sleep about 4 o'clock, and when I woke up at 8, we were still counting.
We're still counting. Yeah, I left here at 9:30.
So. And I just left it in the hands of God and the voters, and fortunately, luckily I came out at 14, right?
There you go. Well, we'll talk about some of your strategies going forward, but I just want to ask Sarah. Sarah, of course, you are a person of the people. You always go around and make your presence known and support your fellow Democrats. How was the food though? At all of these various places, you may have gone to somebody's house, you may have been at the headquarters and everything. What did they have to eat?
Well, if you're talking about the primary election day, I went around the island to all the different, villages, and I went to all the different places where all the different camps were, and I went to say hi to them, and I thanked them all for their civic participation. I just love when people are actively involved in their politics and their community.
But people are going to say, please, Sarah, take some pandesal, take some ribs.
Okay, let me tell you, everyone had good food, and it was almost like we have the best empanada. We have the best kelaguen. We have the best, I'm like, okay, I'll try, a little bit of everything, but really, everybody was so hospitable, and everyone had great food all around the island. It was awesome. It was like a big party, a fiesta in every village, really.
I mean, I'm by no means any political strategist, but I found that barbecue chicken really keeps you going, like on election day. It's something about the protein, but in terms of matters of more critical importance and everything, we'll start with Jonathan. We'll start outside in this time. Jonathan, your mother, of course, our beloved mayor of Nededog. All three of us are from Nededog, by the way, so it's
Biba
Nededog. It's a Nededog celebration here. Ipapa Estates, and Iseng-song and Sarah.
Was raised in Old Kaiser, but up in towards Laddie Heights now.
Okay, you could actually say hi. You could scream real loud, and your friends in Kaiser would say hi to you. So, so Jonathan, of course, your mother was honored just yesterday with this wonderful Friend of Education Award. Unbelievable honor and everything. And I'm sure, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, as I said. So what are your thoughts on public education? And more importantly, how do you plan, if elected, to improve upon the state of public education?
So first and foremost, I want to commend my mom. This was something that, when we look at it, we lost my grandfather this week.
I'm so sorry. Our condolences. I'm so sorry.
So he pushed my mom. He pushed my mom just as he pushed me to keep going, right? And we saw the lack of schools. My mom actually helped write grants for schools. Stumbo Middle School was the reason why we were able to push that forward, was because the gym was there. And this is where these things are coming from, right? She's done so much for the education, for government education. One thing I want to look at is, ensuring that we can look at those federal grants that she helped draft to create more schools, because creating more schools helps the population, also creates jobs for more teachers. We need to work with DOG to get more teachers out and get more people excited to teach. Also, I want to put something together for within the education system to actually for financial learning. We need to have a financial management program within schools to actually prepare prepare students to come out of school and not get into this debt trap. So I want to make sure we get something like that with the Education Policy Board, and I've been talking to candidates on the Educational Policy Board to do so.
All right, well done. And I can think of no better way that you would honor your late grandfather than to inspire young people clearly the way that he has.
My great-grandfather's.
Or your great-grandfather.
My grandfather just passed, but my great-grandfather is actually Vicente Beneventi San Augustine. Or Vicente San Augustine Beneventi. Beneventi Middle School.
Right.
Is my great-great-grandfather. Or it's my great-grandfather.
I did not know. Okay, home of the Roadrunners.
Exactly. So when we look at the history, right, my mom started at DOE, my great-grandfather started in the education system as well, and then they both progressed to public service. So, just with the hopes with everybody, I want to make sure that we can move in and develop more educational programs for these students.
All right. Well, John, our sincere condolences to your family from all of us at KWAN, really. Sarah, I'd like to talk to you about now that's something that you work on right now, the homelessness issue, like on Guam, and everybody is going to assume, should you be elected, that okay, Sarah's in office, she's going to assemble her staff, she's going to get going on this project that she's worked on for throughout the entirety of the pandemic. So if you are elected, you're obviously going to continue this work, but do you have like a bullet list of like things that are, here's what we need to do, here's how we appropriate the funding, here's how we take care of the people on Guam that do not have a permanent place of residence?
Absolutely, my focus is going to be on poverty prevention and homelessness prevention, because this last year and a half has been an incredible experience for me. I've been a social worker and a person that's been out in the field with the most vulnerable of our community for the last 45 years. And this last position that I held, and I'm grateful for the governor and lieutenant governor for asking me to do this, because I was already kind of going into a retirement mode. And they said, please stand up this program. And I said, okay, And it was perfect because it really gave me the opportunity to spend a lot of time with people who made that mass exodus because of the pandemic, right? Make that mass exodus. So I relearned, confirmed, or just really had a better and deeper understanding of what drove people to poverty and homelessness.
And you know better than anybody all the financials, the logistic decisions that have to be done, the people that are required, like John said, getting more people to teach, getting people to actually staff these services and everything. So if elected senator, I'm sure you're going to say, we need money to get this done, because, it works in theory, but we're going to have, some serious funding.
And I'm really going to be more focused on the prevention part, so before they even get there, before they get kicked out of the house, before they get they exit because they haven't paid their rent or their mortgage or what have you, or because they have drug and alcohol problems or whatever. I want to work on the prevention aspect of it too.
Very nice.
I think that's important.
I don't know if either of you saw, but our Nick Delgado he just did a live report from the Lighthouse Recovery Center, which does very, very fine work in the treatment of substance abuse. All right. Okay, we do have a couple of video questions that members of our community did send in, and we'll start with John. And this one comes from another John. This is John Camacho who sent us this question.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm in education. My question is specifically for the candidates who aren't sitting in a senatorial position right now. What are some of the inefficiencies you've seen from the current legislative body that you'd like to address if you're elected?
All right, thank you once again, John Camacho. I believe John is an educator. So, Jonathan, well, we'll start with you. So, inefficiencies that you've seen with the current legislative body, and how you would improve upon that?
So one thing that I've seen is the bickering, right? The bickering creates a lot of inefficiencies within the legislature. We've seen it throughout the last couple of years in the legislature, where we can't come to terms to find a middle ground to move legislation forward. And this is one of the things that I strive on is ensuring that I can always find a middle ground to try to work with people to make sure that the agendas of our island is the best thing put forward. At the end of the day, people are going to have their agenda and which way they look at it, but there's always a middle ground, and this middle ground is not what we see today in the legislature that is being created, because sometimes we see a lot of, we've seen people fight on the floor. People walk out in public hearings.
How do you compromise though, John, while still standing firm on what your constituency wants you to do and what you've promised the people that you'll
Because
achieve?
at the end of the day, there's always some sort of middle ground, and there's always give and take, and the only way to have that is dialogue. You can't just walk away from the situation. You can't just yell. Yelling doesn't solve the problem. You have to be able to be willing to come up and have the dialogue, and then understand the points that are important to each individual person. Because if you can't understand the points, you're not gonna be able to find the middle ground to find resolve.
Very true, and very well said. Well, hopefully we can actually bring about such positive dialogue. Sarah, same question to you as John asked. What are some of the inefficiencies that you've seen with the current 15 in the legislature, and how would you bring your own experience, again, like John just said, in conflict resolution?
I think that's one of my skill sets that's going to be helpful, and that is in mediation, conflict resolution, team building.
Who could get mad at Sarah?
I think it's just so important, as Jonathan said, we got to work together, and I think building one team with the Republicans and the Democrats is good. I think having small group sessions that used to be called caucus, I don't know that they have them anymore, but caucus is important, where you take a look at all of these issues and you determine what needs to be changed, or how it could be enhanced, and should it go forward, and who we should get to co-sponsor. So I think that's going to be really important going forward, because I don't think people want to hear about who's a Republican, who's a Democrat, and they want to hear about how we're going to move forward together.
People just want answers,
yeah.
and it was that line from that movie. What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah.
It seems from both of you like you want to actually improve the dialogue between. So
we have different political values, but I think that we are and can be of the same mind. That's our people. Let's move forward. What is it we're going to do to make it happen?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's our next question, and this comes from Senor John. Again, I believe you guys know Uncle John. He's down at the Valley of the Laddie, and here is John's video question for you both.
Hoy, dan half a day, na nusi, John Raymond Napati Agun Toto Talapofu. How are you gonna go about to enhance the Guam community and its culture?
All right, so just Masi, Senor. Okay, so another John asked a question, and we'll start with another John. It's Nededog all over the place and John all over the place today. So, Jonathan, your thoughts on promoting Guam's culture and ensuring our heritage is preserved?
Senyor Agan, mas importante proteger cultura. Sa bula problema gi isla. And the reason why I feel that I say this is because we lost sight of our culture, of who we are as a people. And this is where my heart and my soul lies, is when I look at things that I want to develop. I want to look at the overview of who we are as a people, because our culture has got us this far. Our culture tells us that we need to protect our land, because this is what's going to provide for us. We need to protect our language, because this is who we are. This is part of our identity. We have to share this with our people. I want to ensure that we keep Horal. I want to ensure. I was actually a Chamorro Studies major at the University of Guam for a while, and then I switched to agriculture.
You take classes from Peter Onadera?
I actually Sinot Bavakwa,
Okay.
Mr. Goffigan, Dr. Goffigan. So when I look at it, right, my daughter attended Horal. I want to make sure we perpetuate these programs. One thing we need to do is actually ensure that the Chamorro teachers who are teaching in our schools get certified, and then they don't have to go back for recertification on a regular basis, because we don't have enough Chamorro teachers who are locked in. So I want to make sure that we work with the University of Guam to actually get these instructors to where they don't have to go back and constantly conflict their schedules with the schooling times, as well as the as well as their teaching times, right?
All right, good thoughts, John. I also know that in the private schools, several private schools have thriving cultural programs. I know Mount Carmel has a very good one.
I believe Bishop
Yes,
has another one.
St. John's actually just started teaching Guam history this year as part of their required curriculum.
You know,
awesome.
Santa Barbara, when my daughter goes to Santa Barbara, and during Chamorro month, we actually set up, we have all the Guam peeps, we have a bunch of Chamorro books in Chamorro that we set up there so the kids can come and interact.
Great job by the Spartans. It's a good school too.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, same question to you, because you've worked with young people for so many
Yes.
years and improving their lives, but instilling a sense of who we are, where we've come from, where we're going, what our ancestors would want us to do, and really feeling that spirit. How do you keep that alive?
Well, some of you may know I was born and raised on Guam, so I was really raised with a deep respect and appreciation for the Chamorro culture. And so when you think about, yes, language is critical. That's a critical component of preserving the culture, as well as the traditions and the respect for the Manumku, right? And caring and loving each other. And as I observed and worked with those that had exited, and I saw a lot of Chamorros out there, and I also saw that there was that great, loss where we don't take care of our extended family as much as we. So what is it? What are some of the things we can do to keep our families intact? Because I think that's a critical component and an awesome feature of our culture, is the family staying together, being united.
I love how you said respect too, Sarah.
That's
who we
it.
are.
The bottom line, that's really the core of who we are, I think. And so how do we preserve that, and how do we instill that in our children and our teenagers, our young people, as well as our persons with disabilities and our elderly?
Very
How
true.
can we show that? How can we? So I want to see that in everything we do.
Absolutely true and beautifully said.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 48 years old. I got all this gray hair, and I was at a family party, 3 weeks ago. First thing I did, I grabbed the Dixie plate and I started fanning the table, because that's how my tata raised me.
That's right.
When I was 6 years old. I couldn't even
You
stop now
help.
if I tried.
You
Yeah.
help any
Very
way
well
you
done.
can.
All right. Okay, we have some fun questions for you. This is our Fast Five section where we're doing some lightning round questions. We'll start with John. I have a feeling, Jonathan, you intimated this earlier, but who is your role model?
When I look at role models, right, my life, I grew up with a lot. We just lost one. My grandfather, my mom. I watched my mom raise 4 boys as a single parent, and I watched the family dynamic step up to support us, right? My grandmother, my grandfather, who we lost both of them this year. But it's the family, strong family support. What led to it, right? My mom, watching her get hit by a car, about a year and a half, 2 years
remember
ago,
that. It was very scary.
and being able to come back, just seeing the tenacity that she has to keep driving forward for the betterment of our community. And this is what I grew up watching. This is what I grew up doing in the backgrounds for so many years. Auntie Sarah knows this. Auntie Sarah knows that my family has always, me and my brothers have always been out there during response. Just because we knew that my mom was going to be there, because she's so tenacious at taking care of things. And she isn't going to give up. And just like me in the legislature, I'm not going to give up.
Very nicely said. Okay, Sarah, your role model, please.
Geez, there's no one person.
Is
but-
it Jesus?
Yeah.
That's a fine role model to have.
Praise the Lord. So
Absolutely.
true. Yes.
Amen.
And
What better role model to have?
yeah, and we grew up as has been said at Santa Barbara School, and with the Sisters of Mercy, I call them, that they really were the ones that raised me. And that was a tough, strict life, being raised by the nuns. But my parents, my mother was an educator, and my father was a federal government civil servant. And so they both came from backgrounds of service, and that was instilled in all of us, is that our part of our lives must be always about helping other people and doing what we can. My mom really pushed education as well as being the way forward, and I really want to make a commitment to doing that with young people, instilling that love for learning, for education, and wanting to contribute to your family and your community.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I'm going to try and get through as many of these as we can.
Okay.
So we got to keep these with these ones real short, all right? We'll start with John. If you want something sweet, what is your go-to treat?
Ice cream.
Ice cream? Okay, Sarah.
Oh, my new thing is coconut candy from that place in Naganya.
Ooh.
It's the bomb.
Let's go there afterwards.
Let's
It
go.
is the bomb.
It is,
And
yeah.
bring your toothbrush, and because that stuff gets caught between your teeth.
Right,
Like with the
they have different flavors and it's awesome. It's in the Tanaka building.
Well, we're going to go after this for sure. Okay. John, since you were talking about ice cream, our next lightning question is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream? And I'm lactose intolerant, and I'm asking you that. So I was like, I'm all about ice cream.
My go-to is always, for the last like 4 years since has been cookies and cream. We have debates in my house about this.
Very nice. Just mash up an Oreo, and man, you got a party right there. How about you, Sarah? Your favorite ice cream flavor?
Green tea.
I very
love
nice.
green tea, matcha.
That's a nice palate cleanser after you have a big meal.
Yeah.
After you have some of that stuff on primary
Yeah,
election day with the
and-
ribs and the empanada.
The best Japanese restaurants always have
That is very
great
true.
green tea ice
But,
cream.
but the portions are so small. I need a big bowl. All right.
That's all we need.
Yeah, Jonathan, who's your favorite author?
I just ran into a local author. He's American, Father Fran.
Okay.
I love what he has written about the outer islands. I was just talking to him, and I came to do the final blessing at the hospital. So of course I told him, I was like, I love your books.
Oh, very nice. How about you, Sarah? I know you're very, very well read. So
Oh my
Of all the
gosh.
thousands of books you read, who's your favorite author?
Okay, growing up, young adult, M. Scott Peck, The Road Less Traveled. I loved him. Maya Angelou, love.
Of course.
All of her stuff. And now my Pokusai son, Julian Uggan, is the bomb.
Very nice. Shout out to
Yeah.
Julian doing really,
Yeah.
really good things.
Good job.
Had an amazing interview the other day. I'm a Stephen King guy myself.
Yeah.
That explains a lot. Okay, final question. John, if you could visit anywhere, where would you go? Except Guam. Where would you go? Anywhere in the world. Or outer space.
I want to go back to Iraq, but I want to go on, because I've been there, but on the other side of the conflict, right? But I want to go there and see what it's evolved to and see how much it's changed, because at the end of the day, I want to see the difference that we made that when I was there. I've actually I was part of the group that actually helped train people in food safety and sanitation to get them up to par. So I want to go back and see if those impacts are still there.
Very nice. Of course, you went there as a serviceman, so thank you
Yes.
for your service once again. Okay, Sarah, final word is yours. If you could visit anywhere in the world, I'll give you a ticket right now.
Oh my
Unlimited
gosh,
frequent
I want to
flyer
go to
miles.
Singapore because I want to know. I want to know all of their secrets on how they keep their cities so clean and organized. Singapore is known for that, just like Palau in our region is known for how they protect their environment.
Yes.
That would be like the two most awesome places.
I've
other
never
than
been.
Guam.
I've never been to Singapore, but I have a lot of friends who live there, and they say that exact same
Right?
thing. I've
Yeah.
been to Disneyland, and people tell me that Singapore is way cleaner than Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Disneyland is, immaculate. You drop something, a gum wrapper, 2 seconds later, someone picks it up. All right, Jonathan Savares and Sarah Thomas Nededog, thank you for your time, and we wish you continued luck and all the blessings in the world going forward to the November 8th General. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.